Debbie is a high-flying British Nigerian. She had never been one to lose control and poise. She thrived in the world of finance, where precision and logic ruled. But the moment she met Blessing and Femi in Lagos, her carefully constructed world began to unravel. What started as admiration turned into an obsession, a dangerous, all-consuming need to possess him. Debbie arrived in Lagos with a clear plan: celebrate her grandmother's 70th birthday, spend a few days soaking up the warmth of family, and return to her structured life in London. But everything changed when she met Blessing. The air was thick with the scent of jollof rice and fried chicken as Debbie walked into her grandmother's compound. Laughter echoed around the courtyard as family members prepared for the big 70th birthday celebration. Her grandmother, wrapped in a vibrant Ankara scarf, greeted her with open arms and a smile that seemed to hold secrets of a lifetime. "Ah, my London girl, you're too thin. Come eat," her grandmother teased. Debbie laughed and hugged her tightly, inhaling the familiar scent of her grandmother's shea butter lotion. It wasn't long before Debbie was introduced to Blessing, the young, vibrant physiotherapist who had been helping her grandmother regain mobility. Blessing was warm and chatty, her kind nature immediately drawing Debbie in. As they sat on the veranda, sipping freshly made zobo, Blessing brought up her husband, Femi. "My husband is always talking about his business ideas," Blessing said with a chuckle. "But he needs guidance. Maybe you could help." Debbie hesitated. She said, "I'm only in Lagos for a few days, but we would see." The birthday party was a grand affair. Guests dressed in dazzling outfits filled the compound, dancing to the beat of traditional drums. Debbie was enjoying the vibrant energy when Blessing introduced her to Femi. Tall, fit, and exuding a quiet confidence, Femi extended his hand. "Debbie, it's a pleasure to meet you. Blessings told me about your line of work." His sharp intelligence, quiet confidence, and fit physique made him impossible to ignore. As they talked about his entrepreneurial ventures, Debbie found herself drawn to his ambition and charm. His ideas were bold, his presence magnetic. He was unlike anyone she had ever met. They talked about business, entrepreneurship, and his vision for a tech startup. Debbie was captivated, not just by his ideas, but by his calm demeanor and intelligence. They exchanged phone numbers to follow up on Femi's business ideas and how Debbie could help. Their communication grows. Debbie's desire for Femi intensifies. Debbie began altering her plans, extending her stay in Lagos to help Femi with his business. In reality, she wanted to spend every possible moment near him. She invited him to lunches and dinners, subtly steering their conversations into personal territory. Femi, though polite, kept the interaction strictly professional. He spoke often about Blessing and their 2 children, clearly devoted to his wife. But Debbie wasn't deterred. "Why does he talk about her so much?" she muttered one evening, staring at her phone. "It's like he's trying to remind himself he's married." Her obsession of Femi deepened. She began wearing dresses that accentuated her curves, ensuring her hair and makeup were always flawless whenever she met Femi. She laughed too loudly at his jokes, leaned in too closely during conversations, and found excuses to touch his arm. But Femi's response was always the same: kind but distant. One evening, after an intense meeting about his business plan, Debbie politely asked Femi to escort her to her 5-star hotel for safety. She invited him to her suite. She poured 2 glasses of wine and suggested they celebrate his progress. Femi hesitated, standing awkwardly at the doorway. "I should get going. Blessing will wonder where I am." The rejection stung. Debbie smiled tightly, unhappy, masking her frustration. The next day, Debbie showed up unannounced at Blessing's clinic, pretending to be concerned about her grandmother's therapy progress. She spent hours chatting with Blessing, subtly gathering information about her marriage. She learned about their struggles, Femi's long work hours, money shortages, and Blessing's trust in her husband. That night, Debbie began crafting a plan. Debbie gifted 10 million naira to Blessing in the name of her grandmother, in appreciation for her good work with Grandma. In the same vein, she started sending Femi anonymous gifts, expensive watches, leather-bound journals, and even custom-made suits. Each package included a note with cryptic messages like, "You deserve more than you settle for," and "Great men are destined for great things." Femi thanked Debbie and her family for their generosity, but she shrugged it off. Femi mentioned the gifts during a meeting. Debbie feigned surprise. "Maybe you have a secret admirer," she said, with a sly smile. Femi laughed it off, but Debbie noticed the flicker of discomfort in his eyes. As the weeks passed without succeeding to romantically involve with Femi, her actions grew bolder. She hacked into Blessing's social media account, posing as her to send Femi messages hinting at marital dissatisfaction. When that didn't elicit the response she wanted, she hired someone to follow Femi, taking photos of him at his business meetings. She used the photos to create a fake narrative that he was being unfaithful. One night, Debbie showed up at Femi's office uninvited, claiming she needed his advice. She brought dinner and a bottle of wine, insisting they celebrate his latest business milestone. "You work so hard," she said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You deserve someone who understands your drive." Femi gently removed her hand. "Debbie, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but I'm happily married. I think we should keep things strictly professional." The rejection felt like a slap in the face. Debbie's obsession boiled into rage. Her actions became erratic. She began spreading rumors about Femi, telling mutual contacts that he was stringing her along romantically. She even hinted to Blessing that she'd noticed Femi acting suspiciously, planting seeds of doubt in her mind. But Debbie's most dangerous move came when she orchestrated a false emergency. She called Femi late at night, claiming she'd been attacked and had no one else to call. When he arrived at her hotel, she was dressed in a silk robe, a faint bruise painted on her cheek. "I didn't know who else to trust," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Femi sat stiffly on the edge of the couch, keeping his distance. "Debbie, you should report this to the police. Do you want to call your uncle or cousin?" She shook her head, leaning closer. "I just need you." Femi stood abruptly. "I'll arrange for security to check on you, but I can't stay." As he walked out, Debbie's expression darkened. The obsession consumed her. Debbie began stalking Femi's family, learning their routines. She even approached Blessing's children at their school, introducing herself as a family friend. When Femi confronted her about it, she acted innocent. "I only wanted to drop off a gift for the kids," she said, feigning hurt. "You're so quick to assume the worst of me." Femi's patience was wearing thin. "Debbie, this needs to stop. Whatever you're doing, it's not okay." But Debbie wasn't listening. In her mind, Femi was hers, and nothing would stand in her way. Later that night, Debbie stood on the balcony of her hotel, staring out at the Lagos skyline, wearing a luxury robe, talking on the phone. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Stop whatever you're planning, or you'll regret it." Debbie's lips curled into a smile. "Let's see who regrets it first," she muttered, dialing a number. The line connected, and she spoke coldly. "It's time to show Femi that he needs me, whatever it takes." Dear viewers, Femi's journey to becoming a millionaire fintech entrepreneur takes an unexpected twist when Debbie becomes obsessed with having a romantic relationship with him. But does he really need to give in to her advances to achieve his long-term goals? Should he stay focused on his dream or give in to the pressure from Debbie? Let us know if you think there should be a part 2. We want to hear from you. Please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest content. We want to hear from you.